So question, if everything is divine, why Acharya Shankara says Brahma Sattam Jagan Mithya? It is because he looked at the world through Maya. He was a Mayavadi, and Swamiji's assertion was that no, if Aham Brahmasmi is true and Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, Khalu Idam Brahma true, then if you take this together, it becomes Aham Sarvam Brahma. I am one with this universe. So Swamiji accepted this fact, and he is Brahmavadi, not Mayavadi. How to concentrate in anything from any distraction by repeated practice, there is no other way. When you resolve to do something, you have to stick to that, may what come. How can we purify ourselves everywhere? By undertaking unselfish work alone. That is the only way, because that would be resulting in good mind. It requires strength of mind that needs a firm resolution. An act of piety, it gives you much strength. If you do some good work, you will feel glad, you will feel blissful, blessed. Convert your action as yogya. In the Bhagavad Gita we have Bhunjate te tu agham papa je pachanti atmo karunat. The person who cooks food only for himself is eating sin. Just think of that. So you have to give up, you have to sacrifice a little bit of what you have prepared for yourself to others, so that you are taking, others are all divine, so you are taking only prasadam and not food, gross food as such. You have to have such mental thought. You have to think in your mind that way. Maharaj, this is yours. Please to come. Oh, no. So it has been addressed to Atmasadhanandaji, but it is written in Bengali.
He'll manage.
He manages. That's it. Then, আমার প্রতিবেশীর কতক্ষণ সেবা করব, তার দুঃখ দেখে যদি দেখা যায় সে সম্পূর্ণ আমার উপর ডিপেন্ডেন্ট হয়ে গেছে। দেখুন, এত বিচার করে সেবা হয় না। কি লিখেছেন জানাননি? আমি বলি, আপনি ভয় পাচ্ছেন যে আমি যদি কারোর সেবা করতে যাই সেখান থেকে ফিরে আসতে পারবো না। ফিরে যদি আসতে না চান তাহলে আমার একটা অনুরোধ আছে আপনার কাছে, এইভাবে বিচার করে সেবা হয় না। তার বাড়ির একটা ছেলে বা মেয়েকে লেখাপড়া শিখিয়ে সেই বাড়িতে আর্থিক নির্ভরতা আনিয়ে দেন। আচ্ছা, এটা গেল একটা প্রশ্ন। গোটা ওয়ার্ল্ড যদি কামনা বাসনা মুক্ত হয়ে যায় তাহলে এই ওয়ার্ল্ড চলবে কি করে? এটা আপনার মাথা ব্যথার ব্যাপার হয়েছে, আমাদের ঠাকুর শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণেরও ছিল না। ঠাকুর শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণ এত সব বলে গেছেন, কিন্তু মানুষ তাদের বিচার বুদ্ধি মতো কেউ কামনা বাসনায় লিপ্ত আছে, কেউ তার থেকে বেরোবার চেষ্টা করছে, কেউ বেরিয়ে গেছে। কেটলির জল ফুটছে, সবটাই যে একেবারে উবে যাবে একসাথে বাষ্প হয়ে তা না। এই কেটলির সাথে যোগ করা আছে ট্যাঙ্কের, বুঝলেন? জল ঢুকছে, কিছু বেরোচ্ছে, সবসময় থাকছে প্রবাহ আকারে। এই জগৎটা থাকবে, তবে সকলে যদি থেকে যায় তাহলে তো মুশকিল হয়ে যাবে, কাউকে মুক্ত হতে হবে। কাউকে গড বলতে গেলে তার মধ্যে পিউরিটি বিচার করা কেন দরকার? যদি সেই ব্যক্তি অন্যের পজিটিভ এনার্জি হয়, তাহলে তাকে কি গড বলা যাবে? নিশ্চয়ই। ইউ অ্যাপ্রোচ এ সেকেন্ড পার্সন according to you who is a superior person. That's why you accept him as your guru. তারপরে এগিয়ে যান, দেখবেন যে আপনি যত নিজেকে গ্লানিমুক্ত করছেন, আপনি ততই সেই সাধারণ একটি মানুষকে ভেতরে, যাকে গুরু বলে গ্রহণ করেছিলেন, যে আমার চেয়ে একজন একটু বড় ধরনের মানুষ, তার কিছু গুণ দেখেছেন, সে দেখলেন যে সে বিশাল গুণ তার মধ্যে আরও বেড়ে গেছে, আরও বিশাল গুণের সন্ধান পেয়েছেন। হি ইজ নট চেঞ্জিং, ইউর গুরু ইজ নট চেঞ্জিং, ইউ আর চেঞ্জিং টু অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট দ্য গ্রেটনেস অফ ইউর গুরু, মাইন্ড দ্যাট। এইভাবে দেখতে দেখতে শক্তির প্রকাশ আপনার ভেতরে হবে, একসময় দেখবেন যে আপনি এবং আপনার গুরু এক। এই হচ্ছে অদ্বৈত। দেখুন না, একটা ছেলে পড়ছে ক্লাস 5-6-এ, তার টিচার হি ইজ সুপিরিয়ার টু হিম। তারপর সে যখন এমএ পাস করে এসে সেই টিচারের সাথে যুক্ত হলো, তখন টিচার বলছেন যে না, তুই বাবা আমার চেয়ে অনেক জানিস, আমি অত দূর যেতে পারি না। এরকমই হয়। অথবা এমএ পাস করার পর সেই এমএ ক্লাসের টিচারও একই পর্যায়ভুক্ত হয়ে যান। এটা ভাবতেই হবে।
There are questions pan-India. I'm not going to read the questions or the names of the people who have asked or the places they've come from, because time is very short. I've just taken up the concepts. Let me try to give you my opinion. There are no answers to these questions. We share our opinion, and then we choose opinions which are workable, which are practical. We don't say this is the last word, because a very inclusive tradition is the Ramakrishna tradition. We don't exclude things. Somebody has asked about a correct goal. Now, correct goal keeps changing. It is an evolving process. When you are a student, you are studying, your correct goal is that you concentrate on your studies and not other things. But when you have finished your studies, your goal obviously has to change. When you're a student, you're doing other things, and when you are no longer a student, you say, oh, I love to study, that is my goal, then you are mistaken. Please choose your goals accordingly. At any particular point, your goal setting, we do goal setting for about 3-4 hours. I can't do it in 1 minute. But I can certainly tell you that whatever is your goal should have a backup plan also. Very often we set a goal which is unrealizable, so we have to make realistic goals. In case you are not able to make a realistic goal, you have a backup plan, then you don't feel disappointed or your mind doesn't get negative. Goal setting is very important. Think with yourself. We have strength within us. Go within and find out what is your goal. Sitting in this hall, your goal is to imbibe. Going outside, going home, your goal is to emulate. Now, I cannot spell out your goal for the rest of your life. The choice is yours. Freedom, we heard, so all of us are free to do that. Now, somebody said, how should love ourselves? We have the concept of a misplaced self-love. This is very dangerous. We call it as a skewed self-image. Skewed means distorted. A self-image. I'm the greatest, I'm the best, and so on. Nivedita spells humility. I did not mention it. Humility is very important for us. Vidya dadati vinayam. If we are really educated, we cannot be egoistic. Whoever is egoistic, we should snatch away their degrees by saying, you are not educated at all. So there is a positive self-love, which we call self-worth. I find in our university students very often a lack of this self-worth. They say, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm useless. I'm bad. That is wrong. You have to respect yourself. You have to measure how much you are capable of. We have many games to measure self-worth, and that requires a group of people. Of course, here we don't have a chance. I remember sometime back in Jamshedpur, we had a program where within half an hour, the girls prepared and they spoke about great women of India. I was amazed at their capability. So can you imagine? Unless you have self-worth, you can't do it. Unless you have a goal, you cannot do it. So these are very important. Then we have what is called, somebody has asked about concentration. Concentration comes when all your mental energies are focused at a single point. If you disperse the energy, you cannot do anything. If I cut the electric light, the wire, we will not have any light. It is because electricity is coming to that point that the light is shining brightly. Honestly, how often do we gather all our energies? We never do. If you really gather all your energies, you can't hear what is happening outside. Your senses do not do the work which they usually do. Otherwise, a small sound, you look away. Your concentration is lost. So concentration is building up your mental energy. Our Swamijis teach beautiful meditation techniques. That is one way of developing. We have also a secular meditation technique called creative visualization, which you all can find and try. All these are techniques for concentrating the mind. Now I'm stepping into revered Siddhanandaji's area, self-confidence and overconfidence. Confidence has three layers. One is lack of confidence. Oh, I can't do it. When I went to class first time, my hands were shivering. Ranganathanandji said, go to Mumbai and attend. I was alone, single delegate. He said, Maharaj, I cannot go. He said, no, you have to go. I'm telling you, you go. One day he told me, you teach Bengali. I said, I don't know Bengali. I'm born and brought up in Hyderabad. He said, you go, I'm telling you. For 1 month, I had to take Bengali classes, which I learned at home, only alphabet and things like that. Not much. So that is the way in which lack of confidence, somebody builds up your confidence. Swami Vivekananda says, first is have faith in yourself. Then have faith in others. If Swamiji tells me I can do it, that means. And then only comes faith in God. That also is a question. Do we believe in God because we fear God or we love God? Sri Ramakrishna is Sarva Deva Devi Svarupaya. We love him. He is supposed to be the image of love. You can do anything with him. One day you can go and confide in him. Another day you can have, little quarrel with him. Some days you can do many other things with him. Now there are other questions. Why should we get angry and how can you stop other people's opinions from impacting you? I don't think I should answer that because I can see red in front of me. They say in English, a red rag to a bull. So I will go and sit down. These two questions, I would recommend that all the questions can be collected in a single email where the questions can be sent to the speakers because our emails are available to them. And whenever we find time, we can answer them. Very often, Bodhimayanandaji does that, sends some very relevant thing and says, you answer, you tell them what to do. This happens all the time. And recently, there is somebody who's doing research in how to use Vivekananda in the military training, Agniveer training, which is a wonderful research. Thank you.
I too have a number of questions. मेरे पास भी सभी भाषाओं के प्रश्न हैं, हिंदी, बांग्ला, इंग्लिश. उसमें से जो प्रश्न मैंने उनको क्लासिफाई कर लिया है, तो क्लासिफाई के प्रश्नों को आपके उत्तर देता हूँ. There is one question here which says, किसी ने जो भक्ति का पथ है उसके पास, उसने कहा है कि वो जैसे श्री रामकृष्ण देव ने बहुत प्रयास किया, उन्हें ईश्वर दर्शन हुए, तो हम अपने जीवन में कैसे ईश्वर दर्शन कर सकते हैं? How we can realize God? He has read the Ramakrishna Vachanamrit That is a Hindi translation of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And similar question was that what do we gain if we attain inner freedom? तो पहले तो ये कि भगवान प्राप्त करना ये जो है ये एक हमारे समक्ष देखो दो चीज़ें हैं। एक तो कहते हैं कि आप किसी चीज़ में विश्वास करो और दूसरा है कि उसको प्राप्त करने का प्रयास करो। पहले है योर जस्ट ए बिलीवर, दूसरा जो है यू बिकम ए प्रैक्टिशनर। तो आप प्रैक्टिशनर बनना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिए पहली बात जो हमें हमारे शास्त्रों में श्री रामकृष्ण देव की बातों में हम पाते हैं वो है कि पहले जीवन में नैतिक जीवन को स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, जैसे सच बोलना, अपने आप पे कंट्रोल रखना, ब्रह्मचर्य का पालन करना, जीवन में विनम्रता होनी चाहिए। पहले इन चीज़ों को स्ट्रॉन्ग करें। कोई कहे कि ध्यान करने से भगवान मिल जाते हैं, तो ठीक है, लेकिन ये आपने इधर उधर की बातें सुनी हुई हैं। लेकिन जो साधक हैं, जो महान व्यक्ति हैं, उन्होंने यही पथ बताया है कि पहले आप अपने जीवन को पवित्र कीजिए। नैतिक बात को लेके पतंजलि योग सूत्र में इसको यम और नियम कहा गया है। यम, नियम, आसन, प्राणायाम, प्रत्याहार, धारणा, फिर ध्यान। तो आप ध्यान से ही शुरू करेंगे तो बाकी वाले स्टेप्स तो आपने फॉलो नहीं किए। तो अक्सर लोग कंफ्यूज हो जाते कि हमें करना क्या है। स्वामी जी ने कहा है बी डू एंड डू गुड। तो पहले आप शुरू कीजिए इन यम और नियम। ये 5 बताए जाते हैं योग सूत्र में, अर्थात पहले उसमें सत्य है, अहिंसा है, ब्रह्मचर्य है, फिर चोरी नहीं करना, तपस्या का जीवन अपनाना, संतोष रखना, ईश्वर के प्रति अपने आप को समर्पित करना। पहले हम इनको अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग करें और साथ ही निस्वार्थता, जीवन में अगर निस्वार्थता ना हो, हम सिर्फ अपने ही इसमें जो भी हमारा लक्ष्य उसी में लगे रहें और कभी ये नहीं सोचें कि दूसरों के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं, तो हम बड़े अहंग केंद्रित हो जाते हैं। वो एक प्रकार की अपवित्रता है। इसलिए भगवद गीता में आता है योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति आत्मशुद्धये। जो योगी अर्थात जो साधक है वो कार्य करता है अपने मन की पवित्रता के लिए। तो जैसे आप रामकृष्ण मिशन में आए हैं, आपने देखा यहाँ पे कितने साधु ब्रह्मचारी महाराज भी काम कर रहे हैं, सेवा कर रहे हैं, विभिन्न जो विभागों को वो मैनेज कर रहे हैं। तो उसका उद्देश्य क्या है? उसका उद्देश्य है मन की पवित्रता। और एक जो प्रश्न यहाँ पे है वो है कि डिजायर फॉर मोक्षा इज ऑल्सो ए डिजायर। ठीक ही कहा। तो यू से हमारे जो शास्त्रों में है कि हमें वासनाओं से मुक्त होना चाहिए, हमें इच्छाओं से मुक्त होना चाहिए। तो ये तो एक इच्छा हो गई, बिल्कुल। लेकिन ये इच्छा की कैटेगरी में आती नहीं है। ये इच्छा ऐसी है जो बाकी सब इच्छाओं से मुक्ति दे देती है। तो इसलिए इस इच्छा को रखना असल में एक बहुत बड़ा एक सौभाग्य होता है। श्री रामकृष्ण देव कहते थे कि बाकी सब चीज़ें मिठाई की कैटेगरी में आती हैं, लेकिन मिश्री जो है वो मिठाई की कैटेगरी में नहीं आती है। तो इसलिए हमें इस इच्छा को रखना, अगर किसी के मन में है कि वो मोक्ष की इच्छा, तो अगर वो इसके मामले में बहुत सिंसियर है तो उसने अपने जीवन में एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्रेस कर लिया है। और एक प्रश्न है, ये 2-3 लोगों ने किया है और उसका भाव ये की है, he asked that how to get rid of extreme negativity. Another person says यदि हमारे वातावरण में नेगेटिविटी ज़्यादा हो तो हम हमारी मानसिक शांति को कैसे बनाए रखें। और इसी को किसी ने और ने कहा है कि how to get rid of these poisonous inputs that we get from the media. इन तीनों का अगर हम एक उत्तर दें तो अपने विवेक को जागृत करो और विवेक को और उसको बलशाली बनाओ। अच्छा, विवेक क्या होता है? विवेक अर्थात हमारे अंदर सोचने की क्षमता, क्या उचित है, क्या अनुचित है, क्या मेरे लिए या मेरे चरित्र के लिए, मेरे व्यक्तित्व के लिए, मेरे मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के लिए अच्छा है या क्या बुरा है। इसको विवेक कहते हैं। हर सोच को विवेक नहीं कहते। मैं सोचता हूँ बहुत, या बहुत कुछ मेरे मन में विचार आते हैं, उसको विवेक नहीं कहते। विवेक में एक उद्देश्य होता है। और श्री रामकृष्ण देव तो आध्यात्मिक दृष्टि से और कहते हैं कि नित्यानित्य विवेक करो, अर्थात ये चीज़ हमेशा रहेगी क्या, या फिर ये कुछ दिन का ही खेल है। तो हमें ये विवेक की शक्ति को और उसको बलशाली बनाना है। तो ये विवेक की शक्ति को कैसे बलशाली बनाएं, ये भी एक चात्मिक प्रश्न इसमें ही है। तो जितना हम अपने आप को अच्छे विचारों से युक्त रखेंगे, सत्संग करेंगे, दूसरों से जब मिलेंगे तो सिर्फ गपशप या फिर बहुत सी साधारण सी बातों, खाना पीना, स्पोर्ट्स पॉलिटिक्स को छोड़ के भी कुछ तो जीवन में होता है। उन चीज़ों को, जो गहराई वाली वस्तुएं हैं, जो गहराई के शब्द हैं, जो विषय हैं, उन पे अगर हम अपना चिंतन करेंगे, देन वी कैन स्लोली डेवलप दैट विवेक। कठोपनिषद में और एक बात बताते हैं। कठोपनिषद में कहते हैं कि देखिए, दो प्रकार की चीज़ें होती हैं, श्रेयस और प्रेयस। कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो श्रेयस हैं, अर्थात श्रेयस्कर हैं, दे आर गुड फॉर अस। और कुछ हैं जो सिर्फ वो उसमें मज़ा आता है बस, जो अभी उसका हमें हो सकता है बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा हो, लेकिन बाद में उसका जो फल मिलता है वो ठीक नहीं होता। तो हमें सब समय ये मन में रखना होगा। और फाइनली अभी रेड लाइट हो गया कि व्हाट इज़ फ्रीडम। किसी ने पूछा कि आपको एज ए साधु सन्यासी हैं, इनको क्या, आपने जो जीवन जी रहे हैं, इसमें आपकी फ्रीडम का क्या अर्थ है। देखिए, फ्रीडम टू लिव स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ इज अ ग्रेट फ्रीडम। थैंक यू।
It's really wonderful to see a large number of questions coming from the students. So it would not be possible for us to take up every question individually. So I'll just, whatever I have read through these questions, in all these questions I found the questions are mostly centered on the subject of how to develop our inner strength. What is this center of divinity called Atman? And how are we going to become stronger like Vivekananda? So most of the questions which I have received, it is centering this point. So dear students, when we think about the issue of manifesting this power from within ourselves, as I said in the morning, in the beginning, that we have to manifest this infinite power which is lodged inside ourselves. How do we do that? There is a well-tested method, the method showed by the great masters. We can sum up this entire method into 2 steps, beautiful 2 steps. See, we have been discussing the subject of self-confidence, faith in one's own self. One's own self means faith in the infinite power which is lodged inside each one of you. At that center where this infinite power is lodged, that is what is referred to as Atman. Now the question is, how are you going to get access to this center which is inside each one of us, which is our true nature? This is the biggest investigation which can be done in the human life, my dear students, keep it in mind. Everything else is fine, but minus this investigation, this human life will prove to be, actually speaking, from the ultimate standpoint, a futile effort. So we need to take this great enterprise seriously. What is my true nature? How do I do that? So the way is twofold. Number 1, Karma Yoga. To put in Swami Vivekananda's terms or Sri Krishna's terminology, we need to lead a life which is selfless. The more we are leading a selfish life, my dear students, keep it in mind that this infinite power which is lodged inside you, it is never going to manifest. More your life is self-centered, more you only think about your pleasures, your convenience, your enjoyments, more your aim is totally self-centered, meant for your self-aggrandizement, this power is not going to be manifested. Opposite of that, the more you learn to live a life which is meant for the good of others, more you lead a life which is selfless, which is dedicated to the good of the society, the good of your neighbors, good of the nation, and the good of the entire humanity, you will see what tremendous powers will become manifest in and through you. So, point number one, how do you manifest this infinite power which is inside you? The way is to become selfless, to put an end to our selfish activities. Number two, combined with this, we need another discipline. My dear students, take it very seriously. When you go back, this should be your takeaway. The combination of these two wonderful disciplines. One is selfless life, second is meditation. This meditation is a very powerful tool which can give you access to what is inside each one of us. Please write it down. Whether you succeed in meditating or not, that's a different point, but you should strive to do that. And as my earlier speaker has said, you cannot be just meditating like that. There are certain things to be done, certain groundwork has to be done to be successfully meditating. So we have to have purity of the mind. The more we are involved in immoral actions, the more you give space to immoral thoughts and feelings, the more you give space to impure thoughts. Remember, all those things make you unfit for this wonderful practice of meditation. So, in short, keep it in mind, these two things. More your life is dedicated for the good of others, and more you combine that selfless activity with the daily practice, regular practice of inwardness and meditation, you will see slowly and gradually you will understand what is lodged inside yourself, and you will be able to use the strength and power which is coming from inside for the good of the entire world and society. That is what Swamiji had said. You know, Swamiji's one very famous statement is there, which he had written to the Mysore Maharaja. He says, this life is short, and the vanities of this world are transient. They alone live who live for others. Rest are more dead than alive. What a beautiful statement. All of you should note down this statement. They alone live who live for others. Rest are more dead than alive. So this is one point. What is the way that you can manifest this strength and this confidence and this infinite power? The way is selfless action and meditation. Second thing, we need some role models to emulate. See, these all abstract ideas are very fine, but we need some concrete human examples. We have two beautiful examples. That should be the takeaway of this wonderful gathering which we have gone through in this session. One great example is Swami Vivekananda himself, who is a very embodiment of this faith in one's own self and the power which manifests through that. Another beautiful example as youngsters, which Swami Vivekananda himself was very fond of, that is the great figure of Hanuman. You may wonder, Swamiji used to say that every young man, every young woman should hold Hanuman as the role model. Mahabali, Mahaparakrami, Mahabhakta, Mahagyani. That infinite power. Just look at the Hanuman's very figure. It speaks everything that we have been discussing from morning. Hanuman is the very role model of physical strength, mental strength, character strength, and finally that infinite power which comes from the Atman. So every young man and woman, I would say, you should have these two pictures on your table. One is Swami Vivekananda and other is Bajranga Bali, Hanuman. And if possible, you should chant Hanuman Chalisa every day. What a wonderful thing it is. It reminds us of the infinite power which is lodged inside us. And when you're constantly reminded about that, wonderful things can happen. So this is what I want to say in short. The takeaway is twofold. Lead a life which is selfless. Combine it with the practice of meditation, and have these wonderful role models of Swami Vivekananda and Hanuman. You can really draw great inspiration from these two figures. Thank you so much.